I now recognize Mr. Mike Howell for 5 minutes for his opening statement.
Members of the subcommittee, thank you for the opportunity to testify about the role of NGOs, or non-governmental organizations, in facilitating mass illegal immigration. I currently serve as the executive director of the Oversight Project and previously was at DHS and on Capitol Hill conducting oversight of immigration matters. The United States of America is still reeling from the worst border invasion in its history. This was an invasion that was planned, promoted, encouraged, funded, and sustained by radical elements of the previous administration. But this invasion could not have been accomplished without a colossal partnership with the NGO community. Simply put, the government just did not have the capacity to get this many people in and around the country without the support of the nonprofits. And to that end, they gave them almost $6 billion to a conglomerate of UN agencies and over 200 NGOs to do just that, according to statistics from the Center for Immigration Studies. The result was that Border Patrol became a daycare. They became Uber drivers just to shuttle illegals to the nonprofits to get them around the country. Now, the Oversight Project has led the way in exposing what I call this border industrial complex. In December of 2022, we did the first of its kind study where we tracked illegal aliens by their cell phones as they went through these nonprofits at the border. In just a 1-month period, in tracking 30,000 devices, so a very small subset of the 10 million that Biden had crossed the border, we found out that the illegals went to nearly every single congressional district in the United States. We proved that every town was indeed a border town.
Yep, we did. We proved without a shadow of a doubt that every town was a border town. I lived that nightmare. Welcome to the J.J. Carrell Show. NGOs. That's basically the show today. I want to talk about NGOs, and then I want to talk about what is the repercussions of NGOs. What is the repercussions of treason in America? Well, it's worse than you could ever even fathom. When I wrote my books, Invaded, and my last one, Treason, in 2025, and I produced 2 documentaries. And my last year in the Border Patrol, I saw the NGOs descend on the border. State, local NGOs, and then the religious NGOs that were always there, kind of lurking in the shadows, came out. Catholic Charities, Lutheran Family Services, Jewish Family Services, you name it. Those scumbag organizations found their way out from the darkness into the light. But it was clunky. It was inefficient. It was a boondoggle. It was an absolute boondoggle. I remember those early Joe Biden days. I knew and I saw and I witnessed the policy changes after policy changes after policy changes, obliterating any type of border security. And I watched the money start to trickle down and the contracts start to trickle down to the NGOs. So I saw the end game, what was going to happen. Fast forward several years when I retire and I come back to the border to do some research, interviews, talk to some agents, look at the grand scheme. I remember coming back and flying home and thinking that it was dark. It was about 11 o'clock at night, flying back to Kansas City from San Diego. And I remember thinking, how am I going to articulate this to America? How am I going to articulate the fact that the NGOs, the religious NGOs, have created a evil partnership with our federal government, and those 2 entities are going to destroying, and will ultimately destroy the United States of America. They will demographically alter the United States of America. Because when I was down on the border in 23, 24, and then 25, I saw the most well-oiled machine you had ever seen in your life. I saw the most efficient, effective machine that I've ever seen. The ability to move bodies tens of thousands a day through a mechanism of basically tag and release into society, with the NGOs giving plane tickets, the shuttles to and from the airports, picking them up at their final destination, ensuring that they have housing, clothes, water, food, medical, education, job training, all the stuff that came with it. And we were looking at over $1 trillion in 4 years. $1 trillion. Now, I want to get into a further, broader scope of NGOs because I didn't have blinders on, but I was really focused on the NGOs of the border. And what happened was that became the first layer, if you will, of pulling that away and seeing the NGO world. And I remember writing about it. I remember writing about it in my book, Treason. And I remember sitting there at night because I like to write late at night. It's quiet. No one's coming and interrupting me, which I don't want to never be interrupted by my wife or my son. I love them. But I can just get rolling, right? Rolling on research and writing. And I remember writing this part about the NGOs and thinking, nobody is going to believe this. No one's going to think how this non-governmental organization, evil partnership, they're never going to believe it. They're going to think it's some kind of sci-fi thriller. And lo and behold, I write it. About less than 2 months later, Elon Musk is in the thick of Doge, and he comes out and says, the money laundering machine is the NGOs. The way they moved the people into America was solely because of the partnership of the NGOs. I was completely and utterly professionally validated. Everything that I wrote about, research, knew from experience and history, now is being told by a man that had the ability to look into the inner workings of the government machine. And he saw that, dear God, the government is not, they're hand in glove. They're tied at the hip with the NGOs. And the NGOs, through all of the religious, the Jews, the Lutherans, the Catholics, the Protestants, the Seventh-day Adventists, the Baptists, they conspired with the government to destroy the United States of America. I'm a Catholic. Catholic Charities is an abomination. Abomination. Elon Musk was able to show the rest of the nation that the NGO, and I'm going to get into the numbers later of how many they are and how much money gets pumped from the government to the NGOs. It is staggering. Even I didn't even know the total. In 4 years, I estimated Joe Biden gave at least $1 million, maybe I'd go up to $1 trillion to $1.5 trillion in 4 years to illegal aliens. International NGOs through USAID, then hundreds of billions of dollars through quasi programs through DHS to FEMA and FEMA to the NGOs, and they watched it. But Elon Musk has been able to determine and show by tracing the money that the NGOs, that apparatus of NGOs, and there's millions of them, not thousands, millions. It's a web. I want to bring it down as crude as I can, okay? There's an NGO, a big NGO, let's say it's Catholic Charities. But Catholic Charities doesn't do all the work. They have to sub it out. It's like building a house. I'm a general. I need finished carpenters. I need transportation. I need lumber. I need TVs. I need brackets. I need wood. I need all that, right? So I need to start subbing it out. I can't do it all myself. Same thing with NGOs. So you have the big NGO, Catholic Charities. But underneath it, Catholic Charities might be connected to 100, 200, 500 different NGOs. Well, I'm a politician, Republican or Democrat, but majority Democrat. I will pass a bill where we need to feed the children. $50 million. $50 million to me and you is a gigantic amount of money to the federal government in $1 trillion budget. $2 trillion, $4 trillion budget, $6 trillion budget. That's nickels. Those nickels add up to hundreds of billions to trillions of dollars a year, thus the $38 trillion in deficit. But I digress. $50 million just to one NGO, just one. goes, drops into Catholic Charities. Catholic Charities pushes that down to another level of NGOs. And guess who's on the board? Well, the politician's spouse would be on the board. And that politician's spouse, her annual salary is about $500,000. But because the NGOs do so well, she gets bonus money of, say, $1 million. And I do that over and over and over and over again. And I'm cleaning the money like through a laundry machine. From the major NGO gets kicked down. Who's looking at the other 100 NGOs under Catholic Charities? No one. But how did senator's wife or senator's husband is on that board? No one knows. She's using her maiden name. They kick hundreds of thousands to millions of dollars to her. And now that senator, that congressman that came into government 5 years, 6 years ago with $100,000 in debt or $100,000 in assets is now worth, after 5 years, $30 million. Do you see how this works? Do you understand the rudimentary kind of diagram that I just articulated to you? Can you imagine how sophisticated it gets? How sloppy they get at the same time? They have been stealing trillions of dollars from the United States of America. I'm going to show you this next one, and this is Kristi Noem, who I'm a big fan of. She was my governor when I was when I lived in South Dakota for several years, and incredible woman. And this is what she says. I'm going to pull this up. I'm going to read it, just how she says it. Kristi Noem confirms Democrats put together a shadow network of NGOs with the explicit purpose of overthrowing the government. That is a powerful statement. But it is a statement that is 100% factually true.
We are announcing that we have stopped all grant funding that's being abused by NGOs to facilitate illegal immigration into this country. So it's amazing to me the hundreds of millions of dollars that have been spent by the federal government that has been sent to NGOs to facilitate this invasion of our country. So I've taken action to stop those funds, to reevaluate them, and to make sure that we're actually using the taxpayer dollars in a way that strengthens this country, that keeps us safe. So I think people are curious when we look at grants that are given out by federal agencies at how they're utilized, and that evaluation needs to be done. We're not spending another dime to help the destruction of this country. We're going to make sure that we follow through on what President Trump has promised, and that's to make sure that we're securing our border, departing those who are here illegally, and committing criminal actions, and that our taxpayer dollars aren't spent to help it.
And Madam Secretary, I don't think people fully understand the role that NGOs play, many NGOs play, in facilitating illegal immigration. I just want to share these numbers with everybody up on the screen. We spend over $380 million, did in 2024, for sheltering and service programs for illegal immigrants. But the vast network of NGOs that help facilitate it through Panama, through Mexico, and make it a landing spot here in the United States is a massive contributor here to illegal immigration. So what you're telling us today is that now stops, at least the federal funding of that stops?
Mm-hmm. Yes, through the Department of Homeland Security, we have stopped spending those dollars to fund those NGOs. And well, it's been so.
Listen to what she's saying. She's stopping all of it. And let me give some. I had this discussion today, and I'm going to finish this because she has another minute, and I want to play it all the way out for Kristi Noem. I was speaking to someone today as I was driving home from work, and I said, you know what? We sit here and I'll just say me. I criticize Donald Trump or say, I want this to go faster. I want this to go. He needs to do more. He needs to do more. At the same time, I pull back and I look at what this man has done, President Trump, and it is mind-blowing. Sure, would I like thousands of people arrested? Would I like to see Guantanamo Bay pact with our politicians that have stolen from us, committed treason? Yes. That being said, there is no one, not one single man that could be in his position and has accomplished what he has accomplished. None. Zero. Quick, you're going to say, oh, you're carrying water for Donald Trump. I don't carry water for anybody. But let's play this game. Name me one politician, go as fast as you can, that could take his place and do what he's done. Go ahead. I'm waiting. J.D. Vance, Marco Rubio, Elon Musk. Who? The answer is nobody. Nobody could have done what Donald Trump has done. Period. Period. What he's done on the border was Herculean. I said when I wrote my first book, and I went on interviews, 1,000 interviews, I said the border was going to be 100% secure within 6 to 9 months, and everyone scoffed at me. Oh, that was going to happen. What happened when Donald Trump took office? He had 4 years of planning to know. He did what he needed to do in 6 to 9 months. He did in 1 day. The NGOs are conspiring. The religious NGOs and the secular NGOs have conspired with the Democrats and some Republicans to destroy the United States of America. That's not hyperbole. That's not, well, I'm just trying to get clicks. That's just the truth. That's just the truth. Let's finish up with Ms. Noem.
So revealing is that many of these NGOs actually have infrastructure and operations set up in Mexico on that side of the border that are telling those illegal immigrants to come to them, and they will get them across the border. So they're not just operating in the United States, they're operating outside of the United States to help make it easier for those who want to break our laws.
Right.
And I was one of those Americans that years ago, when somebody said NGO to me, I thought, oh, that's amazing. That's a nonprofit that's out there telling somebody about Jesus or spreading faith and salvation or doing good work and charitable work, helping people that are less fortunate. And then I realized over the years, it's been perverted into this shadow government. An NGO is sometimes an operation that does things that the government cannot do, can't legally do. So they create an entity to use government dollars, taxpayer dollars, to do something that the federal government isn't allowed to do, to do a shadow government operation that really has been used recently to undermine our country's national security.
That's a big statement, Ms. Noem. That's a big statement. And it's a statement that I 100% agree with. 100% agree with what she just said. Now I'm going to drive home this point. I'm going to drive home this point. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you Nick Shirley. And I know we all know him. But I want you to listen to the guy that he's been running with in Minnesota. And I want you to listen to what he says about Lutheran Family Services working in Minnesota. And I want you to see, and let's listen. Everything's tied together. Look, when I used to, I still do, go give speeches. I come right out and tell people, the enemy of the United States of America is our own government. I understand Donald Trump's in. I understand we have great cabinet, some exceptional cabinet members like Ms. Noem. But the administrative state is filled with Marxist, communist traitors. And our country is being devoured. Devoured by a shadow government, which is in complete partnership with the evil NGOs.
If this doesn't stop, this Minnesota's done. It will be Somalia.
Like, we know the fraud attracted them, but initially what attracted them to come here, because a lot of them came underneath Obama with what was happening in Somalia. A lot of refugees were taken into the United States. What attracted them to come straight to Minnesota? It's freezing up here.
I think part of the reason was that the churches, especially the Lutheran Church, got involved with bringing over a lot of refugees, and it started back with the Hmong population, which was very large in St. Paul, and I was happy to have them here. They worked, they opened businesses. They were good community members. They're good citizens. And so I think they leaned on the churches to say, hey, we need to bring these people over because they're refugees. They're fleeing conflict.
Yeah, they're fleeing conflict. That's what Christy Nome just said. Oh, it's religious people spreading the gospel and Jesus and God. Yeah, that's how they got us. NGOs. Oh, the NGOs are great. They're incredible. Well, no, they just use God. And they got enriched by the tunes of billions. Do you understand what I'm saying when I say billions of dollars? Conservatively, Catholic Charities from 2009 to 2024 received 5.2 billion. That's what they're claiming. I don't believe that. I think you could take that number and times it times 10 at least. This is our Christian and Jewish faiths sold the soul of God for 30 pieces of silver. And when I say, well, talk to me about how much. I'm going to show you right here. I'm going to blow this up so you can see it bigger. Please bear with me. This is a great site that I like. Let me even get it bigger. I apologize. Nope. I think that's going to be as big as it is. I'm going to go just show you. This is an account on X called C3 at C_3C_3, kind of like a mirror. Just type in C3. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. And this is a great site. I love this. I don't know if it's a woman or a man. Doesn't really matter. I love it. I'm going to read it to you. And she or he says, are you sitting down? And he lists NGOs, like the amount of NGOs in just certain states. California, 213,720 NGOs with an annual money going through of $594 billion, a $500 billion with no accountability. I'm going to get to that in a second. New York, 132,000 NGOs at $445 billion, another $500 billion. Minnesota, little tiny Minnesota with a small population of Americans, has 41,000 NGOs and just had go through their coffers $124 billion. New Jersey, 56,000 with $113 billion. Washington State, 44,000 and $139 billion a year. That's just the beginning, guys. That is just the beginning. California, almost $600 billion last year. When I did my documentary, one of the questions I asked, I had someone that I knew worked inside a DHS, inside the CBP. And his duty was to cut checks to the NGOs, which is electronic transfer of money. And I said, first, who are you responsible for? You responsible for all the NGOs? He goes, no, dude, there's hundreds of thousands of them. I'm responsible for Lutheran Family Services. And I said, Lutheran Family Services? Okay, that's all you did? Okay, well, what's the biggest check you cut to Lutheran Family Services? Well, the biggest check I cut was $600 million. I said, hold on a second, buddy. This guy's very competent, intelligent, but $600 million is an enormous amount of money, and you have to be financially trained and able to do financial audits. And he was not trained to do financial audits. I know his skill set. That was not it. He had no formal or informal training. So I asked him, okay, hold on. Is that for like how many years? And he said to me, I'll never forget, JJ, will you get in the ball game, man? He said, that was about 3 months. I said, okay, hold on. 3 months? And it's renewable. It's renewable. What do you mean? Yeah, they just call up and say, I need another 3 months. And we go, okay. He said, Mayorkas, all the way down, just said, money's not an object. Get them everything they need. No questions asked. And I said, so you are the guy that tracks the $600 million to make sure that it gets appropriated correctly? And he said, no. No. He said, no one is tracing the money, dude. No one's tracing the money. So it's a free-for-all. Yes, it's a free-for-all. And I was like, I said, well, Catholic Charities is bigger than Lutheran Family Services. Yes, that's true. So I said, okay, well then they had to have gotten the same amount of money. They had to have gotten the same amount of money or more. He said, yeah. There were other people that had other contracts. That was my first introduction to the money aspect of it. I saw the logistical aspect of it, which was unbelievable. But I did not fully understand how unbelievable the financial side of it was. And I'm going to show you an example of an organization that I despise. I'm going to put it up on the screen. And this is Catholic Charities. So so as you're watching this video, I want you to understand what you're watching. Okay? Catholics are not giving money to Catholic Charities. We do. I don't. There are calls for money to go to the Catholic Charities. Catholic Church will say to you, we're not tied to Catholic Charities. That's a lie. Nobody uses the name Catholic in a religious format and doesn't infringe on the copyright of the Catholic Church. Every chapter of Catholic Charities has a U.S. bishop tied to it. So don't tell me that it's not tied to Catholic Church. You, through your taxes, are giving money from the federal government to DHS or to USAID, and those two entities are giving the money to Catholic Charities. Catholic Charities uses that money for, quote, refugee resettlement, and they bring in people into America and settle them for the tunes of billions and billions and billions of dollars. And then part of their money, too, is to advocate for more illegal aliens, to provide attorneys, to provide pamphlets and training on how to abscond from law enforcement. Your money, my money. It's hard for me to watch this video, to be quite honest with you. It's almost 3 minutes long. I don't know how long I'm going to be able to watch it, okay? But I need you to watch it. I need you to understand the level of corruption NGOs play in our government, the level of evil that our religious institutions, the role they play in the demise of the United States of America.
Hi, my name's Barb Graham, and I'm an attorney at Catholic Charities of the Archdiocese of Milwaukee in the Refugee and Immigration Services Program. This is a video about knowing your rights if Immigration and Customs Enforcement approaches you.
Okay, I have to stop it right there. I didn't even get, what did I get? 15 seconds? I'm paying money to that Karen in order to Catholic Charities to employ immigration attorneys to help facilitate illegal aliens furtherance into our country, and then to explain to illegal aliens, quote, their rights. And we're going to go through this, and she's an idiot. He proclaims they have rights they do not have. I'm going to try to continue. Pray for me if I can get through 15 more seconds.
All people living in the United States, including people who are undocumented, have certain rights under the United States Constitution. If immigration officers, what we sometimes call Immigration and Customs Enforcement or ICE, come to your workplace, they must have a valid search warrant or the consent of your employer to enter non-public areas.
And if they don't let me in, do you know what I tell them? Well, I will be back tomorrow, and I want to see all your I-9s. I want to see the social security numbers of everybody you have employing there. And if you don't have it all lined out perfectly, then you will be fined, and you know the fine, and I'm going to cripple you.
If you are undocumented and
There's no such thing as undocumented. No such thing as being undocumented. All of these illegal aliens have documentation on them. It's called their foreign passports or foreign IDs. We'll continue.
immigration officers come to your workplace, be aware of the following. First, do not panic and do not run away. If you are frightened and feel like you need to leave, you can calmly walk toward the exit. If you are stopped, you may ask if you are free to leave. If the officer says no, do not try to exit the building. If you are questioned, you may tell them you want to remain silent. 2, you have the right to remain silent. You do not need to speak to the immigration authorities or answer any questions.
Okay. I'm sorry. I can't. Sorry. I can't go anymore. It's damning. You can go to my Substack and you can get on the links, and my website's showing up underneath. Go to my website or my Substack and you can pull up. I preload every day what I'm going to talk about, a brief, if you will. And I have all the links to the videos. I encourage you to go. I can't do it. I'm sorry. I can't do it. My Catholic faith that I believe in the depths of my soul is being corrupted by the facilitators of my faith, to that pig telling falsehoods. Number one, illegal aliens do not have constitutional rights like United States citizens do. That is an absolute bold-faced lie. Also, if I know you're illegal, I don't care if you talk to me or not. I don't need you to talk to me. I can articulate, because I'm a very damn good Border Patrol agent, that I can articulate who you are, that you're not from here. And then I will bring you in, and I will put you through our database, and then I will deport you. The point of this video, the real point, is to show you how corrupt this whole entire system is. NGOs are in the millions. There's millions of NGOs. Over 80% of them are hardcore left-leaning. Do you know how much money goes through NGOs conservatively right now a year? $3.7 trillion. Do you understand? That's almost our entire budget. That's like almost 50%, 60% of our budget. We're not $38 trillion in debt, people. We had $38 trillion stolen. Not just $38 trillion stolen. We should be in the black by tens of trillions of dollars. We should be paying zero state tax, zero federal tax, zero any tax. We should have the greatest roads, greatest schools, greatest hospitals, greatest airports. We should have our healthcare paid 100%. Think about what I'm saying to you now. Think about the totality of what I just said. If we didn't bring in 50 million illegal aliens, if we did not fund the NGOs to the tunes of trillions of dollars a year, we would be debt-free as a nation. We would have so much money, we would go back to the 1880s and have to commission a group of people to come together to make a determination on what do we do with all this money. But instead, we gave it all to foreigners and foreign nations and enriched our politicians and corporate elite as we struggle. If that doesn't make you want to be in a civil war, I don't know what does. If that doesn't make you want to join a militia, if that doesn't want to make you stand up and bring everyone to account, I don't know what else to tell you. Catholic Charities has a way of doing that to me. Vile. We're in the winter months. We're in the thick of it. I want you to go to mypillow.com, promo code JJ. When I get done sometimes, my wife is great. She's like, okay, you can do your show. And then later on we'll have dinner. And I'm like, I just got to lay down. I just need to clear my brain. So I lay down on my sheets in my bed from My Pillow. I have tons of pillows on my bed from My Pillow, all shapes and sizes. I like medium. My wife has like 20 on her side. My son we have so many My Pillows. Every pillow in my house is My Pillow. All of our sheets are My Pillow. The slippers are My Pillow. My wife loves robes, all robes from My Pillow. And why do I like My Pillow so much is because it's made in America by Americans, by a patriot that owns it. Go to mypillow.com, use promo code JJ. Buy your sheets, towels, pillows from a company that I'm not telling you to go My Pillow and they suck. And I'm like, dear Lord, no, top of the line. We go on vacation or whatever. My wife's jamming 4 or 5 pillows in a suitcase. I'm like, oh my Lord. Okay, we can't live with my pillow. I use everything that I promote on my show. I use mypillow.com, promo code JJ. What does this look like in real time? Let me put it this way. What is the repercussions of bringing in millions of people? Tens of millions of people. Well, there's a drastic. It's not just crime. It's not just schools. It's not just all that, even though that is damaging and frustrating. We have now brought in our replacements. We have allowed, through refugee status, quasi-legal status, people into our country. They have children, and their children go into positions of authority and power. Or we bring in first, literally off the boat immigrants, and then make them judges or allow them to be politicians. I want you to listen. This is one of my favorite guys on X that I go all the time to his site. He and I think exactly alike. He's an attorney. I'm going to put him up here. Andrew Branca, the Andrew Branca Show. Go on X and follow him. Incredible. This is shocking if you don't know this is happening. If you don't know what's happening inside our courtrooms and who are the men and women wearing the black robes, it's going to shock you. You have no idea how bad our country is under assault.
I am, of course, attorney Andrew Branca, and we're here to talk today about foreign judges, foreign federal judges with lifetime appointments who are actively ordering about our democratically elected Article 2 executive branch president as if he were a clerk in their courts. These unelected, black-robed, tyrannical, inferior, foreign federal court judges ordering about Americans. How can this be? How can this be? How can this could have happened? And some of these judges were actually born in America. And you might think to yourself, well, that's good. I mean, they're American citizens, at least. But are they? Are they? We're going to take a look at that. And some of these federal judges were not born in America. They're foreign born. Some of them were not born in America and didn't bother becoming U.S. citizens naturalized until adulthood. Some of them were not born in America, didn't bother becoming U.S. citizens until adulthood, and still maintain dual citizenship with their country of birth. And these are the lifetime appointed federal judges ordering about these unelected, black-robed, tyrannical, inferior, foreign federal judges ordering about our democratically elected Article 2 executive branch president. Is this a republic? Did our founders create a nation in which we were to be ruled not just by black-robed judges, but by culturally and nationally foreign-born black-robed federal judges? Is that what they fought the Revolutionary War for? Is that what any of our veterans have fought for? So we could be ruled by people like this?
He's right. Is that what our founding fathers went to war for? Is that what all the men and women that have died in war? We fought for this, to have foreign nationals, foreigners, rule over us. Could you imagine sitting in the courtroom and you're looking at Shabba Dabba Doo that just came off a boat from Egypt, and he's now ruling over you, and he's going to make a judgment on your life, good, bad, or indifferent? I don't want Yabba Dabba Doo or Shari from Calcutta, India. I don't want it. I want an American that I can look and go, oh, you're an American. You look like me. You believe in the same God as me. You believe in the same cultural and societal norms as me. No. The guy's from India. Over 100 million of Indians are defecated in the street and wiping their asses with rocks. I don't think he has the right to rule over me. And here's something that you're not going to know. You're not going to believe it. A vast majority of all these judges have no law experience. Foreign nationals that just got here, or they were first generation, they've never changed, they've always had the same crazy names, they don't even renounce their citizenship, which I don't even know how in God's name that's been allowed to happen. But we have foreigners that are ruling over us. And I'm going to put this up here, and this is, God, you can't believe it unless you see it. So I'm going to show it to you while I talk about it, okay? This I'm going to read it. 33%, this is true, I've already fact-checked it multiple times, 33% of DC judges were foreign born. 100% of those 33% had no judicial experience before being appointed by President Obama and President Biden. They are from the countries of, wait for it, Uruguay, Egypt, Trinidad, Jamaica, and India. Are you out of your effing freaking mind? And these people, these 1/3 of DC judges, are jamming up the president. So we not only have foreign nationals that don't have law degrees or law experience, they are putting injunctions against and restraining orders against the executive branch and our president of the United States of America. Does it all begin to make sense for you? Are you beginning to connect all of the dots? Are you beginning to see what I say every single day on this show, that there is nothing, absolutely nothing that happens in a vacuum? It is all connected. All of it. God bless it. All of it. All of it. I'm going to go back to Mr. Branca. I love that guy. This guy's amazing. And he's going to continue to talk on this subject. And this judge's name is Sparkle. Oh, yes, I did not stutter when I said her name. See, her name is Sparkle. Sparkle Suknana. Now, I don't give a crap. I don't care where she's from. I don't care about anything except I want an American. I want someone up there that looks like me. That's an American. Black, white, Hispanic. You know what I mean. It's not about race. This is about you're an American. I can see it. You've been through life as American, and you're going to judge me as an American through the laws of the United States Constitution. I do not want to be sitting down at a table with a judge in a black robe from India named Sparkle Sukanana. Don't want it, and I don't care how that sounds to you. If you don't like it, turn it off. Go find some other jackass to watch. I don't care. Get lost. But if you think I'm going to sit here quietly and watch my country be devastated demographically and have foreigner nationals rule over me, you're out of your effing mind.
Sparkle Suknanan. This one is really rich. District of Columbia of DC again. You know, there's 15 district judges in the District of Columbia district where all these important governmental fights are happening. And of those 15 judges, do you know that 5 of them are foreign born? 5 of them, a third of them. This one was born in Trinidad and Tobago. You know, famed for its intellect, for its high IQ, for its first world culture. She also still maintains dual citizenship. She is a citizen of Trinidad with a lifetime appointment as a U.S. federal court judge. She did not become a naturalized U.S. citizen until she was 26 years old. And then only 6 years before she became a federal judge. Appointed by Biden, confirmed in the Senate as a federal judge in 2025, January 2nd, 2025, weeks after Trump had been reelected president, and by a 50 to 48 vote, by the skin of her teeth. And now this Trinidad national has a lifetime appointment on the federal courts. And she's been issuing orders obstructing Trump as well. And a DEI candidate. First Caribbean American to serve on the DC district courts as a federal judge.
Says it all, doesn't it? Trinidad, India, Uruguay, Egypt. Passed the Senate. The Senate had to approve it. So that means that the Republicans had to side with the Democrats to push through a DEI hire. So when we have this discussion about, you know, the Democrats are bad and the Democrats suck. But you know who else sucks just as hard as they do? Well, that would be the Republicans. Now, I want to go and I want to take, well, you know what? Before I do that, as the great Rush Limbaugh used to say, let's pay some bills. And I'm going to pay some bills, but I want to say this. I had this company on yesterday. Incredible. Husband and wife, Kristen and Kurt. And they own and run Pet Club 24/7 for your pets and for you, the humans. Incredible. Dog treats for the dogs, dog toys. They're not made with plastics. They're not made with garbage. And it helps your dog's immune system. And it's so natural that they've been able to put it in capsule forms and bombs for U.S. citizens, for humans. And it's amazing. I take it. One of my friends, Alpha Warrior, if you watch this show, I'm sure you've watched Alpha Warrior. Alpha Warrior likes to take the blue bottle because he said it helps him with his mental acuity, swears by it. I use the green bottle because I need my immune system to be firing like in all cylinders because I have that vile medicine called remdesivir, 2 to 3 doses still in my body, and this COVID still in my body. So I need every avenue possible, every anything that will help my metabolism, my gut, my immune system to be firing on all cylinders. And I have been using Kurt and Kristen's patented has over 400 peer review articles on what they have done by capturing a mushroom and using that mushroom's natural immunities and put in a capsule. Incredible. Go to truthwithjjcarrell.com. Excuse me, truthwithjj247.com. Truthwithjj247.com. I swear by it. We bring in all these people. We enrich the NGOs who enrich our politicians and corporate elites, all at the cost of America. We bring in our judges to rule over us, foreign nationals, and we do something else. We allow people that have just got off the boat to run for office. And we bring them into communities and we flood communities with these third world retarded people. And those retarded people vote for their own kind because that's human nature. And thus we get politicians that are ruling over us that still have dual citizenship and they have split allegiances. And I'm going to show you one guy. I don't even know really how to pronounce his name, and I really don't care. It's S-H-R-I. Shri Thainader. Now you're going to, I'm going to put him up. Okay. You are going to, I know you right away, are going to see this. If you have never seen this guy, you are going to think that this is AI. I made him up. There's no way this is true. This is an SNL skit back in the 80s. No. This is 100% factually true. So when you're watching him, I'm going to make you watch the whole thing because I watched the whole thing. It's a minute 55 seconds. I'm going to make you watch the whole thing because I want you to understand that this is how bad it is. America has fallen.
Hello, this is Congressman Shri Thainader. Today, I introduced articles to impeach Secretary Pete Hegseth for murder.
Okay, I got 10 seconds into that moron. I can't believe 10 seconds. This idiot with the thickest Indian accent sounds like a complete jackass. This man is going to try to impeach a hero, Pete Hegseth, a hero, a military hero. How are you not irate, America? How are you not just pissed off? I don't understand. I don't understand how we've allowed this to happen. I have some grasp, but just as a man, how in the God's name do we allow this jackass to be ruling over us?
And conspiracy to murder and reckless and unlawful mishandling of classified information. Since day one, Secretary Hegseth has disgraced that once proud office that he holds, from issuing orders to kill everybody on board a small boat with no evidence of any wrongdoing, to launching a follow-up strike to finish off survivors who barely clinging onto their life.
Do you think, honestly, this piece of trash, this Indian piece of trash, do you think he cares about America? Come on, let's just be honest. If we went to war with India, whose side does he fight on? I think it's a valid question. Whose side? Go ahead. Convince me this caricature of a stupid Indian is going to fight with us. I can't. I said I was going to watch it the whole time and make you. I lied. I can't do it. So I'm not going to do it. It's my show. I'll change. I can't. Sometimes I just can't. I just can't do it. So let's move on from that dumb third worlder. And I'm going to show you, obviously, this picture as, sorry. Yeah. Very much nicer to look at than that Indian. So one thing I love about X is the investigative journalist. I love it. And of course, we're looking at obviously a conservative woman because she's hot. She doesn't have nose rings and multiple piercings, and her hair is a natural color. So I have to assume right off the bat that she is a conservative. Okay, that's just the truth. She actually has her breasts. We can see her breasts are real or not. They look spectacular, and they're actual real. She didn't lop them off. So I know she's a conservative. But I love finding independent investigative journalists that find things that I'm very interested in and do like a follow-up. And she talks about Ilhan Omar. We brought Ilhan Omar into our country, and she has stolen, raped, and pillaged our nation. Listen to this.
How did Ilhan Omar make $30 million in 1 year when her congressional salary is $174,000? This seems very likely connected to the massive Somali fraud ring that was just exposed in her district in Minnesota. It turns out her husband, Tim Minette, has a company called Rose Lake Capital, a venture capital management firm. Its reported value in 2023 was $0. Ilhan Omar's net worth was actually in the negative, and somehow the reported value of that firm has now gone to between $5 and $25 million. And she has the pricey fashion items to show for it now. She also has multiple connections with people tied to this massive Somali fraud ring, including a video of her dishing out food at a restaurant that's at the heart of the scandal. Because, oh yes, it wasn't only learning centers being used to pocket money.
Quality Learning Center is a daycare, yet they spelled learning wrong.
There were also restaurants claiming to serve millions of meals to children without any verification. I would also just like to add, as a side note, that Ilhan Omar is currently on her third husband, whom she had an affair with when he was working on her campaign, and she was paying his consulting firm millions of dollars while cheating on her second husband, not the brother. That was the first one. This was the second one. But, you know, I guess once a cheater, always a cheater. How did Ilhan...
AB. Look what we've done to ourselves. Look what we have done to ourselves. We have imported our demise. We have imported our demise. We brought in tens of millions of people to take our jobs, to take all of our funding, all of our housing, schools, medicine. We have brought in people to sit on our most esteemed positions as judges to rule over us, and then we bring in foreign nationals to rule over us in the politics. And I'm going to show you one more, just to drive home this point as we focus on Minnesota, because that seems to be the epicenter of fraud, which will be shifted. Trust me, it'll be shifted to California within the next couple of weeks when we're able to determine that the state of California has stolen hundreds of billions of dollars from us. But this woman here, let me try to get her name, is, I don't know. It's Kaohly, Coley. And listen to her when she tells you proudly, I wasn't born here.
To us personally, and we're looking into it, or whether it's coming into our neighborhood groups, we are hearing it and we are seeing it, and we are looking into every time I get one, I inquire into it to see. But I think that what's more important in all of this is that it's not just the tactics that are being used, it's the attack on the American people who are citizens. I wasn't born here. I'm carrying my ID with me. I'm carrying my passport card and my ID with me all the time because I don't know when I'm going to be detained, when I'm going to be approached. The fact is that it isn't.
That's the mayor of St. Paul. Well, I'm not born here. Yep. We got it, sweetheart. We got it. You're not born here. As if that's a damn good thing. America, it is not hyperbole to say that we are in a fight for the soul of the United States of America. If nothing is done, good or bad, by the Democrats or the Republicans, nothing, it just stays status quo, we lose. This is a demographic destruction of the United States of America. We have third worlders that are mentally retarded that are ruling over us. When will you have enough, America? When will you say enough is enough? I'm already there. Where in the hell are you?